Davis in the end zone. The Fiesta Bowl, the Heisman, watch the Bucks pole. The BCS, can't say that we ain't number one. The last couple years against Michigan, we 5-1. The season has come, Akron Huskies, Northwestern run. Cause we gon' beat up the Gophers and Buller make you bums. Spartans, Penn State, the badges, we gon' spank. Illini, Michigan, Wolverines, the Bucks will make you pay. It's Buckeye Nation forever, we think Woody Hayes. The realest to rock the stage is King Arden Wallaby. As far as the Florida Gators, we hope and pray to play it. In the horseshoe, we gon' bury you to go undefeated. Scarlet and gray, there's nothing else that I can say. We miss all the players who went pro. Archie Griffin the Great. O State, O State, Scarlet and gray. O State, O State, it's the Scarlet and gray. The Buckeyes is the name. Scarlet and gray, Scarlet and gray. Oh state, we the best in the game. Scarlet and gray, Scarlet and gray. Scarlet and gray, Scarlet and gray. We represent Old State in the Scarlet and gray. The Buckeyes, the Buckeyes, the Buckeyes, the Buckeyes, the Buckeyes, the Buckeyes. Welcome to the Buckeye table. We having Badger for dinner. We nice like Terry Glenn, the Bolitnikov winner. We playing Smash Mouth. What was you thinking? 4th and 1, I'm going deep like Crimson to Jenkins. A shot to Oak Pace. Rest in peace, Jason Gwynn. We all know God got himself a great defensive end. Eddie George, Joey Galloway, and Brandon Sane. Jack Tatum, Keith Byers, D. Miller, and Joe Jermaine. We getting in you fast. Oh boy, is it quick. We number one to take the Heisman home like Troy Smith. Shotgun formation, the trigger, we quick to pull it. Mike Dawes, AJ Hawk, we hit you with silver bullets. The Scarlet and Gray fever. I feel it in me. It's contagious. You receive it like Heartline and Rubisky. You think you gotta stop? We hammer like nails. I'm busting through the middle for 50 like Beanie Wales. O State, O State, Scarlet and Gray. O State, O State, it's the Scarlet.
And King Art.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of In the Shoe with your boys, J Money.
And the co-host with the most smoke, it's your main man with the main plan, I should say, or the game plan. It's your boy King Art, man. Happy to be back, man.
How you living?
Could be better, man, but every time I come in here, man, it makes my day brighter, man. It makes my week go a little bit better. Get a chance to talk to the fans and shoot the you-know-what with my friend, and, all is well at the particular moment.
Hey, it's time to get juiced because, we right around that corner. You know what I'm saying? Spring game has already been officially announced. It is in April. I cannot wait to see these young Buckeyes take that field. And, speaking of fields, we'll talk about the new field design that that upper management at Ohio State decided to go with. But, we'll get into that later.
Fumble.
But we got a good show in here. We're going to be talking about the Ohio State Buckeyes win over Maryland. We'll also be talking about some of the stats from the game. Do got a shout out to Ohio State women's basketball. They keep on winning. Also the men's tennis.
Say we got to give them a shout out. They swept 2 top 10 teams and actually the number 1 team they beat. So you'll definitely see the Ohio State men's tennis team move up in the rankings. 2 top 10 sweeps, man.
And then, after
in a week.
We do got a question of the day, and it's a brain stumper, honestly, if you don't pay attention to what this question is going to be saying.
Yeah.
And then at the second half of the show, we will be talking a little bit about the NBA because I did get just word there was a blockbuster trade just recently.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
How about that? Last couple of shows that we've done, there's been like a
Breaking.
blockbuster bomb drop that we have to wait to talk about because sometimes when you get breaking news, you want to get right into it. As we get down the road and things simmer down, we'll figure out how to incorporate that a little bit better. But we're gonna go ahead and get the show started.
And of course, big day on Sunday, the 13th,
Yes.
as my Bengals prepare to do battle with the LA Rams in SoFi Stadium for Super Bowl 56. I'm looking forward to the game, not only that, but the halftime show. And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah. Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar,
And Mary J herself.
Mary J, the queen of hip hop and R&B, man. Hey, can't ask for a better halftime show than that, man. You talking about nostalgia, you talking about hits,
I mean,
talking about classics.
I mean, you could have, Justin Timberlake and Janet again.
Well, I mean, that I don't think we'll ever stop talking about that moment. It was a long time ago, but sadly, that was pretty much the biggest highlight of the Super Bowl that year. But yeah, we'll get into the Bengals and the Rams. We've got lots of good stuff to talk about there, and we'll get with our Super Bowl picks, and then we'll have our Take It to the Bank segment, and then we'll do our Wild Play in Sports, and then
We'll send you on your way. Waiting for Thursday to get you some more Buckeye fix. So with that, we're going to jump right on in here. Ohio State did beat Maryland 82-67, and the Turtles of Maryland came out of their shell for a little bit in the game and brought it to within, I want to say, 11. And Ohio State just, said, okay, we let you get this close, and the rest is ours. Just to highlight a little bit, E.J. Liddell had 24, 11, and 5. Zed Key had 14 and 7. Malachi Branham had 8. He had a nice cut to the hole on one dunk early in that game, which I loved it. I do believe we do have some footage here in a minute.
Wearing the mask. For some, it's an improvement. Been 4. Slip. Inside, Key. Pulls it in. They play smaller now. And that's one way to... Ayala. The drive, the pump fake, rejected by Liddell. The high-low action instead. Arns. That's it. It's a 3. Hook 2. Back in. Gronk. Ohio State trying to push in transition. Liddell just took over. With a screen from Johnson. Liddell outside. Arms. Got 3. How about that? Johnson cross court. Arms. Count it for 3.
These are so good with that drag dribble separation here by Liddell. Filling it.
Liddell trying to.
How pretty is that?
Young to Liddell. Layup goes and a foul. 4:62. Liddell, open look. He cans it.
No cover whatsoever. Top of that zone. Don't give this kid that look.
Arns.
There you go.
A 3, Justin Arns. Branham.
Good hesitation.
And no resistance. Branham. Ohio State trying to keep pace in the Big Ten.
Struggling. Hitting 1, maybe 2. So
He actually hit his first 3 out the gate. Hit his first 3 or 4 shots, which is always a good sign to see. And he had been such a slump that he had kind of lost his starting job, and he's been coming off the bench for the last 3 games. And it's a nice shot in the arm to see that because the other guys definitely have been stepping up. But come tournament time, we're definitely going to need his shooting.
yes, that is 100% agreeable. And another person that had strong stats throughout the whole entire game, Zed Key. He went through most of the game, or he hit his first, I want to say it was like 5 or he was like 6 for 6, 5 for 5 until he missed his first shot, and it came in the second half.
He only missed one shot in the game. He was actually 6 of 7 on the night for 14 points. And that's what you want to see out of your big man. You want to see him capitalizing down on that low block. When you give the ball down to him down low, you want to see him taking advantage of it. And that's definitely what he did. He showed a little bit of touch, and he showed some force down there.
So, I mean, they're starting to get that momentum back. You know, COVID killed us. 21 days without having any game. Come back, we get a win. Then we lose, get a win. We lose, a heartbreaker to Purdue, which, you know, Brandon Ivy, or Jalen Ivy, I think it is, one of those, just, you know, killed us for the second year in a row. But
yeah, you know, but one thing that you've got to commend the team for is they was down for a long time. They showed tremendous heart in the comeback and actually had a chance to, you know, send that game into overtime. But like you said, Ivy hit the clutch shot, man. And, I mean, you know, these games are character builders for the team. Come tournament time, it'll bode well for them because they have experience in these games and they'll know what to do and what not to do in those waning moments of the game.
That grittiness.
One thing that I like to say about that is, you know, with the up and down thing, there's been a little bit of consistency there. Even though we've had the same amount of wins as losses there, the Buckeyes have remained at number 16 in the AP poll, and the voters recognize, you know, the things that the team has been going through with the COVID problems and everything like that. So it's nice to see them get some wins, and even in the loss, they showed a lot of hope. They showed a lot of promise, and they definitely look like a top 10, top 15 team, actually.
Yep, I do agree with that. We were supposed to play Iowa on Thursday. Unfortunately, that was canceled due to Elsa deciding that she wanted to come through and leave all her snow trails along.
I can hear that Let It Snow. I can hear the Let It Snow song playing in the back of my head.
I am anxious for Saturday. And if you ask me why, I'm going to tell you because it's finally the time the Buckeyes could get their hands on that Canadian team up north.
They've been ducking us.
And we actually go up there to Ann Arbor, I believe it's this Saturday, which will be televised on ESPN. I can't wait. Anytime you can win over that team up north, no matter what sport it is, it feels good. Oh, and don't forget, they have the gold jersey tradition now.
Right, which is something that I'm glad that you know, the Holtman camp came out with. I mean, it's perfect pairing with the gold pants tradition for the football team. And a good thing about you know, the basketball team is often years they have a chance to get 2 or 3 gold jerseys because, you know, they play them most of the time, twice during the year, during conference play, and then they play, you know, in the Big Ten tournament. They have a chance to match up with them there. Side note there, if the football decides to do away with the divisions, then the football team will have a chance to get more than 1 pair of gold pants per season. And, you know, some people feel different about that, but I would love to get 2 pair of gold pants against that team up north.
I would, too.
We can never get too many pairs of gold pants. How can you have enough gold? That's what I want to know. You can never have too much gold, right?
Hey,
so
that's why they had to build a new trophy case at the Woody.
My thing is this. If we have to play them at the end of the season and we have to play them in the Big Ten championship game, so be it. Let the 2 best teams play. I don't care. We can play them because we got to wait 365 days every year, sometimes more on the leap year, you know, to play this team. And, hey, I wouldn't mind every once in a while, every 5 years or something like that, playing those guys twice and putting our foots up their butts. I mean, who wouldn't mind that?
Listen. That whole team up north is actually in shambles right now. Never thought losing to them would actually tear their whole team apart.
I mean, it's kind of comical what's going on there. I mean, you know, they lose and then they get on this high that apparently that they delusionally can't come down from. And you know, when you get one win in the last 10 years, and all of a sudden you own Ryan Day, and the tide is turning and all. I've heard it all. But,
He was born on third base and thought he hit a triple.
for all those things to happen, and then they lose their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator. Harbaugh's flirting with the NFL. They don't want him, but he's flirting with the NFL. He comes back. You got a couple of transfers. I'm not keen to dumpster fires, but I'll watch this one all night long.
I'll bring the marshmallows.
Hey, that's my kind of dumpster fire that I'll definitely tune into and record and get a 6-pack beers and sit back and just watch it unfold, because it seems like it's only going to get worse.
Have a box of chocolate-covered Buckeyes.
Yeah. Ain't no other way to do it.
Exactly. So, here at In the Shoe, we have our opinions about this new field design. Higher ups at Ohio State had a contest late last year to let fans try to design a new field. Unfortunately, they already had their mind made up about this one. And you can honestly tell that's our opinion.
You can see it.
There was some good designs. I would have loved to have the state of Ohio shadow like the shot does.
Yes, we was all really hoping for that design.
I would have went with I wouldn't went with the red paint anymore in the end zones,
because it turns pink after a lot of wear.
Yeah, and after all of us scoring touchdowns, but
you got to think about it like this. It's kind of meh, kind of bland, and you kind of ask yourself, like, what is even the point of doing a contest if you're not going to really imply anything? It seems like they took the blandest of bland and they applied it there. But, I'm not going to complain because, sometimes people get offended when you mess with tradition. I do like the gray stripe. I like the helmet stripe in the end zones that match the field goals. And I do like the Buckeye leaves for the 25-yard kickoff hash marks. And, like you said, it could have been a lot better. They could have made a bigger splash, but they chose to stick with tradition and keep it kind of plain. But anytime we get a new field, because we know the injuries that have happened, we've been to plenty of games where we've seen our players slipping and sliding all over the place. So just the fact that we're getting new turf, period, is a positive thing for us.
It is. Like I said, I still would have loved to have, the state of Ohio shadow behind the block O, and get back to, because there was one point in time that they had Script Ohio in the end zone. Get back to doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's still tradition, and like they've been saying on the radio, for some reason, Ohio State and Nike is allergic to gray.
Yeah, we've seen some wild ones too. You've seen some with the scarlet colored field. You've seen some with the gray colored field. I wouldn't have minded it, in the end zone. That would have looked kind of good, with some of that gray in the end zone there. Maybe with some Buckeye leaves or a helmet stripe or
Brutus.
Or something of that nature. But I agree with you there. I wish they had the Ohio outline in there. Behind the block O. That would have been a great accent. But they chose not to do it. We get what we get. Let's just be happy we got a new field.
Yeah. But like I touched on the gray, though. If you go back and look, it's been I think 2015 was the last time that an Ohio State jersey had gray in it.
Also, it's there. Like I said, there's some small details that you won't actually get to appreciate until you see it on camera, until you go down to the shoot and you actually see the field. Like those Buckeye leaves, I can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
And the actual the numbers are the same block numbers from the jerseys.
Okay.
So the numbers on the field match the numbers on the jersey. So it's little things like that, little subtle things that we won't appreciate now from just hearing them. But once we actually get a chance to see what they look like, I'm going to, hold and reserve my overall judgment on the look of the field until then. But for now, I'm going to give them I'll give them a C. I'll give them a C+.
Yep. So you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready to have your brain stumped?
I really don't like getting my brain stumped. That sounds like that would hurt, man. Did you say stump or stumped?
Stumped.
I know what you said.
Because, I mean, if I stomp, you know what I'm saying, that's 400-some pounds. So
Hey, we don't need that. Clean up on aisle 3.
I'm making wine. So we got the question of the day.
That'd be some fine wine.
Who are the last 3 Buckeye players to win a Super Bowl title? If you guys know out there in the Facebook meta world, the answer to the question is on who the 3 last Buckeye players are to win a Super Bowl.
If you guys have the answer, go ahead and plug it in, and we'll give you a shout out, and we will respond to you after the break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Catch 'em.
If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score On Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com/Columbus.
In sports, you want to have a player that can get the job done right every time. A real all-star, somebody that's dependable and you can turn to when the game is tough. That player in the audio-video industry is the theater people. From setting up your home's Wi-Fi network and offices, conference rooms, to setting up home theater inside or outside, to setting up the systems to make your home run smarter and safer as well. The theater people can do it all with the quality of professionalism you can expect every single time. That isn't just a great all-around player. That is an all-star. That is why we are the leaders in audiovisual installation in Central Ohio. So call us at 614-604-6327 or check out our website at ttpcolumbus.com to figure out which products will fit you. And don't forget, amplify your personality with the theater.
If you've ever dreamed of a career in the sports production industry, your dream could come true. The Ohio Media School is enrolling their next sports emphasis class soon. You'll learn about all the different aspects of what goes into the broadcast that you watch or listen to. Go from behind the scenes to the front of the camera. You'll also get hands-on opportunities to practice your skills through the Score On Air network. Call the Ohio Media School at 614-655-5250 or visit beonair.com/Columbus.
In sports, you want to have a player that can get the job done right every time. A real all-star, somebody that's dependable and you can turn to when the game is tough. That player in the audio-video industry is the theater people. From setting up your home's Wi-Fi network and offices, conference rooms, to setting up home theater inside or outside, to setting up the systems to make your home run smarter and safer as well. The theater people can do it all with the quality of professionalism you can expect every single time. That isn't just a great all-around player. That is an all-star. That is why we are the leaders in audiovisual installation in Central Ohio. So call us at 614-604-6327 or check out our website at ttpcolumbus.com to figure out which products will fit you. And don't forget, amplify your personality with the theater.
And welcome back. Hope you got plenty of food from that concession and you enjoyed the little break. So we left you off with the question of the day of who are the last 3 Buckeye players to win a Super Bowl title?
And no one answered, so I guess you are going to have to give them the answer.
So the first one is 2018. Malcolm Jenkins with the Eagles, who defeated Tom Brady and the Patriots. And then the next year was Mike Nugent. Finally, after all his time in the league, he got a Super Bowl title with the Patriots when they played the L.A. Rams in that Super Bowl where the Rams should never have been in there.
Huge.
And finally, 2020, Darren Lee won it with the Chiefs.
Had a Darren Lee sighting.
Which actually Terrell Suggs was on the team that year too. So that makes him a 2-time Super Bowl champ. So
yeah, I remember that. He got in there just at the right time. And you know what? I always admire veteran players that find a championship team and, enjoy the ride. A lot of those guys won't get another chance at the championship, man. They may not be as integral to the championship as they were in years prior, but they still out there contributing it, because I remember Suggs getting out there and getting a couple of sacks and a couple of hurries, collected himself a ring.
His second.
Another ring.
So now it's time for your NBA talk. What a weekend.
The games are really starting to pick up. You always see the action getting a lot better towards the All-Star break, and after the All-Star break, because the second half of the season is a lot shorter than the first half. Is basically almost 2/3 of the season gone, so you have the last third of the season. I think there's about 28 games left. So teams are trying to get into the rhythm. They're trying to get their lineups established, and this is the time where they start jockeying for position.
And the trade deadline shortly after the All-Star break. And speaking of trades,
we have some big ones.
I'm going to let you go ahead with what just broke today.
Actually, just before the show, there was, breaking news that Sabonis from the Pacers that got traded to the Kings. And there was a couple of other players thrown in there. Buddy Hield from Sacramento comes over. Tristan Thompson comes over for the Kings. And I think this trade benefits the Kings right away.
Yes.
But definitely it seems like the Pacers are preparing for the future, because they also traded Karis LeVert to your Cavs, which was really a great trade, because they're in position to secure a top 4 seed out of the East, which is normally, in the recent 10 years, not as strong as the West. So you get yourself a top 4 seed, you're setting yourself up for a long run in the playoffs.
That you are. So speaking of that trade happened for Karis LeVert to the Cavs, who the Cavs gave up a first-round protected pick, a second round, and 2 second-round picks to Indiana, and also got rid of Ricky Rubio. He's out for the season with that knee injury. So Karis LeVert coming in there playing with the likes of Rondo, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Chetty Osman, Dean Wade. There's a few more to go about, but Karis LeVert being able to come in there and contribute. And, he actually, said he was excited about this trade. He's a Central Ohio native from Pickerington Central.
Played for the team up north.
Yeah, that's the only downfall to him. But, other than that, the energy that he brings to the Cavs now fits well with what the Cavs are trying to do. And speaking of that game on Sunday, the Cavs played Indiana. So, shout out to the Pacers for picking up Dwayne Washington Jr. Because I'll tell you what, he was underrated. People slept on him. He went to the G League for a few games, and he's played now, 22 games, 23 games?
He's played 20-plus games, and in the early 20s. And, out of those 22 games, he's already scored in double digits over 10 times.
So, and he put in, I think, 17 on Sunday.
And I don't know if you guys mentioned it on the last show. I think it already was mentioned. It was mentioned because we did talk about it, I remember. But he's already the record holder for most three-pointers in the game for the Pacers.
As a rookie.
So, things are really looking up for him. I believe actually with these Pacer trades, that gives him even more traction to hold down his spot and be one of the building blocks for Pacers for the years to come. Now, I just wanted to mention really quick the actual trade that I explained earlier. Indiana trades Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, Justin Holiday for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson. That was the official trade. I also would like to throw in there that the Dame Dollars, the Blazers, have traded his running mate, his Pippen to his Jordan, C.J. McCollum, to the Pelicans for Josh Hart. That's another kind of a head scratcher. I knew that they would be moving some pieces, but you can tell that they're not in the win now mode, because if you trade your second best player, you got other ideas. So apparently they're trying to free up some cap space so that they can pull in some guys to surround Dame with. What do you think about that?
I love it. I love the West when it's in turmoil. I'm an East guy. We're both East guys. But I love it when the West is going through that, to where there's not too many real contenders. And over here on the East, right now, I believe you got like the top 6 are really contenders, honestly.
They are, and they're all separated by, just a couple of games because, we had to talk about my Bulls in a second here. But, actually, they're third in the East right now, and they're only a game and a half out. So, the race is supremely tight in the East, and I think you can have an argument or a case for really any of those top 4, top 5 teams to make it out the East.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into my Cavs real quick.
Let's get into it.
So that way we can get to your Bulls and then get to talking about what I really want to talk. So the Cavs, they did beat the Indiana Pacers on Sunday. Just to give a little shout out to Dwayne Washington, like I said, he had 17 points, two rebounds, and 2 assists. Over on the Cavs side, Chetty Osman, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Kevin Love, I'll tell you what, he found the fountain of youth. Because that man out there, he's a bad man right now.
And, he's found his niche. Because he doesn't have the pressure of being a starter anymore.
He doesn't have LeBron.
He can come in with that second unit. Well, but the thing about it is without LeBron, all the pressure was on him. He's one of those people. He's he's an advocate for mental health awareness and stuff like that. It's been well documented, the things that he's been going through. I think he's found his place. He's on the other side of his career. He comes in, he leads that second unit. He's very efficient. He's always been a high IQ basketball player, and he's got that second unit humming.
Man, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Jared Allen, 15 points and 17 rebounds. Rondo coming in, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. Like, you're talking about somebody that's over the hill in his career in the NBA with Rondo. You know what I'm saying? 12 assists, 15 points. And there was a couple shots Rondo hit. Like, he sort of hesitated, but he was like, if you're going to leave me open, I'm going to take it.
He's a veteran. He's a guy who early on in his career, he did not have that shot in his repertoire. But that's something that he's worked on. And one of the sayings from the great Larry Johnson is the more tools that you have in the toolbox, man, the better you are to go to work.
Yep.
So he's definitely added that 3-point jump shot and that long jump shot to his arsenal. If you leave him open, he's not the kind of guy that's going to create off the dribble and knock down jump shots. But if you leave him open, he will knock them down. He has a veteran presence. He's a great passer, and he plays good defense. So it was a great pickup for them, after losing Rubio. So I think as well as the Cavs are playing, as well as the coach has been coaching, you got to give the GM a lot of credit, because the way he's pulling the strings right now and the moves he's made has been nothing less than impressive.
That they have. So then we're going to take it from one Midwest city, swinging on up to that windy city with Chicago. They've had their ups and downs. They were on I think it was like a 5-game lose streak.
They had lost 5 in a row, and they had lost 8 out of the last 13, and they lost again.
That was a heartbreaker last night.
They lost again last night to the 76ers. Well, actually, they lost to the Phoenix Suns last night, but they lost to the Sixers the game before that.
That's right.
The Bulls, like I said before, currently they're third in the East. They're only a game and a half out, and a lot of that is due to injuries. The Bulls are beat up really bad. Lonzo Ball's out for 6+ weeks. The starting forward is out for the whole year. Jones is out for another 6 weeks. They got key contributors out from the starting lineup, and I think that has a little bit to do with the snide. But what it's doing for them is giving them a chance to build a little bit of character. Some of those guys like Kobe White and a lot of the younger guys are getting a chance to step up. So right now, it's a little bit, a pressure on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, man. You know what? I got to give a shout out to DeMar DeRozan. If he's not in your MVP conversation, I really don't know what to say to you. You're not watching basketball. This guy has completely revived his career in Chicago. He's breaking some of Michael Jordan's records in scoring, and he's been basically unguardable this year inside of the three-point line. You got to think about a guy who dominates the game, who doesn't shoot many three-point shots. He's not very efficient as a three-point shooter, but anything under the three-point line, he's completely dominant. He's the master of the mid-range shot. He has a freaky handle on the ball. And DeMar DeRozan has been playing some outstanding ball, and he's actually a starter for the East in the All-Star game, man. So shout out to DeMar DeRozan, man. He's been the person that's literally holding it together during this streak. He is the veteran on the team, so he has to do that. But he's been carrying his weight. 38 points, 40 points. They haven't been coming up with the wins, but he's been very, very efficient in those games.
That he has.
Bulls, get it together before we move on to this next subject. Bulls, get it together. Like I said, the fans, we understand, they're going through some injury, bugs right now. So I believe, once they get Lonzo Ball and, a couple of those other guys back, they'll be back, man.
Speaking of Ball, LaMelo.
Freaky.
Is going to in the All-Star game.
He's one of the reserves.
Which is going to be played in Cleveland at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, Gund Arena, Quicken Loans, whatever you want to call it. It will be hosted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city.
We might have to find a way to get down there to that to get some exclusive footage for In the Shoe. Don't hold your breath, but don't doubt us.
Whoever's got any extra tickets to the game, let us know.
We're still waiting on the sponsor, man. So somebody out.
And also too, if you would like to sponsor us, you can hit us up.
We will plug your sandwiches and pizzas on this show.
At In the Shoe on Twitter.
Only if we get to try them, and we like them.
You can hit myself up at Bucknuts614 on Twitter, and KingArt_614 on Twitter. So if you would like to be a sponsor and get your company out here, commercial wise, shout out wise, hit one of us up, and
we're definitely
let's
open.
Get to work.
We're definitely open. Help me, help you. Help us, help you.
So this next topic. Haven't been able to, I'm still trying to fathom it. After 34 years.
I forgot to bring my tissues in because I knew you were going to do this. I forecasted and foreseen some tears of joy here today.
Cincinnati is in the Super Bowl.
I got a bucket under the table, man, because this dude, man, let me tell you what, the tears are rolling, man.
I'm holding them back, but I mean it's amazing to sit here on a Tuesday of Super Bowl week to say the Bengals are playing in the Super Bowl.
31 years.
34. So I mean it's just it's mind-blowing, but we have that team. We have that bend don't break, team. And a lot of people are downplaying, not everybody, but there are people that are giving Joe Burrow his credit. Don't say Burrow's in front of him because he will get mad.
Burrow.
It's Joe Burr. You know what I'm saying? Joe Shiesty, Joe Cool with Money Mac, McPherson. So, yes,
Yeah,
sir, Will
yeah.
Ward, who they? And it's just to say that right there. Now, talking about the game, it's going to be a game.
I mean,
You got Jalen Ramsey. Who's he going to cover? Because Cincinnati has 3 deadly weapons that, who's he going to cover? Is he going to be primarily on Jamar Chase? Or is he going to go, rotate around? And if the Rams want to double team Jamar Chase, Cincinnati has shown that they can make the adjustments to beat that double team. You know what I'm saying? So then you start talking about, you got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. And we got the heart and soul of our, Joe Burrow is our commander out there on the field, but the heart and soul of our team is C.J. Uzomah. And, he went down with the injury against the Chiefs. It looked like it was a terrible injury. However, it's a sprain. But C.J. Uzomah came out yesterday and said, I am vowing to play in this game.
uh-oh.
I will play on Sunday.
Uh-oh.
Whether I'm hurt or not, I will get out there one way or the other, and I will play.
Well, as long as he's, not hurting the team by coming back, I know he's definitely one of Joe's safety blankets.
Man.
And whenever he needs a play, he can definitely go to him. He's
4th and 1.
Definitely one of the better tight ends in the league. He's definitely proven his worth to the team, especially in the second half of the season and in the playoffs up until he got hurt.
Yeah.
So
And it showed, too, in the game against Kansas City when he went down, or we had to hurry up and switch our offensive, playbook.
He's a big part of that offense because, when you got multiple guys that you have to cover, it creates so many problems for the defense. And he definitely is that extra guy sometimes who can be the main guy if they want to double Chase or they want to double Higgins or something like that. He's the guy that Burrow is looking for because they got a good, relationship going on there.
Yes.
So I'd like to say here now, congratulations to the Bengals. When my team can't make it, I'm going to be happy for my partner here if his team makes it. Plus, it's Ohio, man. So, I'm glad to see the Bengals make it. Not only just make the playoffs, but make it all the way to the Super Bowl. So I only have one thing left to do, and that's win it. And we'll get to our picks in a minute. But I just want to say congratulations to the Bengals on making it, and they've done Ohio very proud.
Yes, they have. Last night there was a pep rally. Unfortunately, I got into a little car accident leaving. Didn't hurt the car that much. I just was a little shook up. Caught some ice and spun around. But there was over 30,000 fans at Paul Brown Stadium last night to send the Bengals off. And, oh, my God, I tell you what, I'm looking for that sweatsuit that they wore last night, the all whites with black.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of friends attend, and they said it was way too many people. If you're a type of person that has any type of social anxiety or anything, that was
not go.
That was not the place for you. And my friend said it was way too many people there. But it
was free.
It was a great turnout. What else could you ask for, man? 30,000 people come out. Your fans come out to support you. They haven't, haven't been there can't even say a while. They haven't been there in,
3 decades.
in an eternity. So, for lack of better words. But, man, Cincinnati, man, the fans came out, man, and, hopefully there'll be another parade there soon.
Man, listen, it looked like a damn Monday night game. It looked like a Monday night game. Yeah, Will, I need that sweatsuit too. So if you find one in a 6X, let me know. Find one in the 6X, let me know, and I definitely will be getting it.
I do want to say, one thing real quick is, even being that you're a Bengals fan, we gotta talk about the Rams a little bit too.
I'm getting to them,
I'm really disappointed that Jordan Fuller is out.
Man.
He's actually the captain of the defense, and he actually became captain of the defense in 1 year. He was captain at Ohio State. Very special player, man. We seen when he left the Buckeyes, the big hole at safety that wasn't there when he was gone. He's Jalen Ramsey is one of the guys you mentioned on defense, but Fuller was a guy, who made the play calls. He was the safety blanket, man.
So I tell you what, when the NFL changed that rule saying that, defense can wear single numbers as well, defensive players can wear single numbers, Jordan Fuller went back to his Ohio State jersey number and turned everything around.
He's a good player, man. Great in open field tackling, great in coverage, man. He's really what you consider
a younger Jalen Ramsey.
A great all-around, but he plays safety. That's the thing about it. He can cover, and he can come up and stick like a linebacker. So I'm really looking forward to Jordan Fuller coming back strong next year. But, we always got to shout out our Buckeyes, and he's the lone Buckeye, on the other side. I'm not actually rooting for his team, but, I would have liked to see him play in the Super Bowl, man. That's got to hurt a little bit being injured and not being able to play in that game.
It does. And, speaking of the Rams and all that, Matthew Stafford's way to the Super Bowl has been a story in itself, coming from where he's come from, to college, to, playing for the car company up north.
The brown paper bags.
Yeah. The Detroit Kitties. And now he's playing in Super Bowl 56.
This is a chance for him to prove that he was what people were saying he was. Mm-hmm. He's put up great numbers throughout his career. But, there was reasons for that. Megatron was a big reason for some of those numbers. And, even throughout the playoffs, I still see some things where I say it's a lot more of the team than it is him. But he did make some big plays at the end of the game against the 49ers, and he threw some great passes to Cooper Kupp. And what about Cooper Kupp, man? Coming out of Eastern Washington, a guy who wasn't highly drafted, a guy who just put his head down and worked. And what does he do? He goes out and gets the Triple Crown. When's the last time you seen the Triple Crown?
He almost, what was it? Calvin Johnson was sitting there sweating, waiting to see if Cooper Kupp was going to break his record for, receiving yards in the season, and he didn't.
He was close.
It was close, but Calvin Johnson actually said in an interview, like, man, I was sitting there watching that TV sweating,
Yeah.
But, Cooper Kupp is not normal. He's not human.
You got to think about how many guys have actually won the Triple Crown in receiving. There's only been 3 of them, I believe.
Jerry Rice was one.
Jerry Rice was one. Cooper Kupp is the most recent, and I think
maybe Moss.
No, it wasn't Moss.
Somebody before Rice.
I think might have been Michael Irvin.
We'll have to look that.
I believe Michael Irvin was the third person with the Triple Crown, and that's a tremendous accomplishment to lead the league in receptions, touchdowns, and yards. I mean, that's just a well of a season, man. So shout out to Cooper Kupp there, man. Tremendous job on the season. Another one of those guys where you don't think much of him till you look at the scoreboard, and he's tore you up for 150 yards and 12, 13 catches and a couple of touchdowns. So, the Rams are very formidable. They've got, stars all over the place. Like we said, we've mentioned Stafford. We've mentioned Kupp. You got Odell Beckham, who's had some great moments in the playoffs so far. Couple of touchdowns, couple of big catches there. He kind of revived himself there after, falling down for the Browns a little bit.
We were wrong. We were wrong about the Triple Crown.
What do you mean?
So, it's Jerry Rice, Sterling Sharp, and Steve Smith.
Sterling, yes, you're right. So he's the fourth player. I couldn't remember. But, you can't win them all.
But you got Cooper Kupp, that's not normal. He's going to pose a threat to the Bengals. But I do like the Bengals defense. But then you also throw in Odell.
I think it's going to be, as far as on paper,
it's a matchup.
It's a matchup, and as far as on paper, you would probably give the edge to the Rams, just considering how they have Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey on the defensive side of the ball, where on the Bengals, it's a collective effort, and a lot of the names aren't as big or as known, but they just put their hard hats on and they come to work. And they've been the kings of making adjustments in the second half, so it's going to be a very interesting game. You couldn't ask for a better matchup, man. You got some great offenses going against some solid defenses, and, the best of the best. May the best man win.
You already know, I've already said I wanted the rematch with the Niners with a different outcome. Probably will never happen ever again.
Hey, you can't say never.
Not in this lifetime.
A lot of Bengals fans thought that they would never make the playoffs again, but that happened.
Hey, you're right about
after
that.
After a 31-year drought, you might think something may never happen again. But don't say never, because, for some odd reason, the 49ers keep finding a way to sneak their way back into the Super Bowl with not having that much of an impressive team, man.
No. But the Rams, like you said, on paper and, film-wise, the Rams have the edge. They are a 4.5-point favorite to win it. Will Ward out there saying Jesse Bates and Von Bell. I mean, that's what Cincinnati's going to be doing. And then you add the likes of B.J. Hill, who we traded Billy Price to the Giants for. Trey Hendrickson, what a underrated player. He played hard in New Orleans. New Orleans didn't want to re-sign him. They let him go. Cincinnati picked him up. And this kid is, I say kid because he's younger than me. But, man.
Just don't call him boy, because
yeah,
that word boy stirs up a lot of trouble on the internet, I'll tell you that.
This kid.
That's a cuss word nowadays.
Yeah, I know. This kid, though, he just playing lights out. He got hurt in the Chiefs game, right?
He did.
And he came back. So, they had that the video that showed of the Bengals players mic'd up. And you see at the end of the game where Zach Taylor is hugging, I want to say Joe Mixon or Jamar Chase. And you just see, Trey Hendrickson just sitting on the bench taking everything in. Like, you could see, he was crying, but you can't see the tears. But he just was sitting there looking up like, and he is probably one of the most underrated defensive players in the league. And he's came up with so many key stops, so many key sacks. He's had a career sack record for him this year, like 15, 16 sacks. So, I mean, and you put him with Sam Hubbard. Come on now.
He certainly had a tremendous season, and he's a big impact for the defense. But I think there's been several guys on the team that are unheralded. Like I said before, they don't really get the recognition, but as a collective and as one, those guys are playing some tremendous defense, and this is the time that you want to do it. They're definitely playing championship defense, especially in the second half of games. So,
who's that remind you of?
You got to give a shout out to the coaching staff, because they're making the adjustments on the fly, and the things that they see in the first half, they will not allow for them to happen to them in the second half. And if they continue to do that in the Super Bowl, I can see a parade coming,
But who do
down
they
71 South.
who do they remind you playing like that in the second half?
I don't know.
The Buckeyes. In past years, Ohio State has been a great second half team.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, when you got four Buckeye players on the team, you know.
I'm not going to shout out their second half adjustments until the defense gets corrected. So I'm still upset about last year where they could not make any adjustments to save their lives. Henceforth, that's why you have a whole new haul on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not. That comparison is a no go for me. But the defense is looking good, and I think we need to go ahead and get into our picks.
I'm gonna let you go.
Well, this might surprise a lot of you, with me coming from Ohio and me being a friend of a guy, who's a Bengals fan, because I don't like to hurt his feelings. So this pick might hurt his feelings a little bit. So with my Super Bowl pick, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals because
O-H-I-O.
They look good, man. Hey, they got to ride this momentum. They got to ride this wave. They have the team to do it. The moment is here for them to capture. They have the good coaching. They have the players to do it. I think the Bengals are going to get it done, man. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a close game. I think this is I think it plays out the way the rest of the games has been playing out the whole playoffs. I think this is a field goal game. I think it's a last possession game. And I think the Bengals pull it out, man, with the money man.
So I do believe it's going to come down to a field goal. However, I would like to see Cincinnati cover on that spread. And I think 35-28 sounds about right.
Kind of confident there.
35-28. I do believe they cover the spread. The over-under is sitting at 48.5 right now. Points-wise, it's sitting at 4.5. So I think with the talent that both teams have, it's going to be a score, there's going to be scores. And I do believe Cincinnati comes out on top, 35-28.
My prediction is 34-31 Bengals.
Hey, and it sounds realistic, so you got that.
You guys, you can plug in your predictions too. You can let us know who you think is going to win, and you can put in your score prediction as well. And on next week's show, we will announce who was the closest to the live game score and who won that little contest in between us all there.
So with that, we're gonna come to the Take It to the Bank segment of the show.
Take that to the bank.
So, my Take It to the Bank, I'm going to have to go ahead and cross state lines and go up to Canada, because I believe with all the turmoil that they are in, that they will have 4 losses next season.
I agree.
4 losses and a blowout here in Columbus, Ohio. Since they haven't beaten us here since 2000. So with that being said, they lose in a blowout to the Ohio State University, and which gives them about 4 to 5 losses next season.
I agree with you there, but it's kind of hard to see it when looking at their schedule. They have one of the most cupcake schedules you will ever see. Their out of conference hardest game is against Colorado. They play Illinois in their cross rivalry. They play Illinois and
They still got Sparty.
They got Sparty and they got Penn State and us, but I mean all those games are at home except for the game against us. They have Penn State and Sparty at home. And I think their cross rivalry games are against, like I said, it's Illinois and maybe Minnesota or something. It's somebody Minnesota is decent, but I don't even think it's them. It's somebody Rutgers, I believe it's Rutgers. But their out of the conference schedule is easy. Their in conference schedule is easy. But with the dysfunction and the way things have been going traditionally for them for the last 10 years, they're good for 3-4 losses per year. And I think they're going to get back to that, especially, like you said, with the turmoil going on over there, which I love to see. That dumpster fire is looking real good from my lawn.
Yep.
But my take it to the bank, I'm going to take it back to the Super Bowl. I think Joe Cool is going to hoist the MVP trophy because the Super Bowl MVP trophy is seems to be made for quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I'm going to go with the obvious choice, and I'm going to go with the guy who I think's team is going to win the game, and I think he's going to throw for like 300-plus yards in this game. The Rams will be able to present some problems to Burrow, but Burrow will get mobile. And he will find guys, and he will make some big plays. So my take it to the bank is Joe Burrow wins Super Bowl MVP.
Hey, Will Ward came in. He said his score is 24-13, Cincinnati.
Wow.
I got you locked in on that, Will. Oh. So it's time for the ending of the show. We got one more thing before we come back to part ways with you. There's a 10-year-old here in Columbus that plays hockey. There's a lot of them that play hockey. But they, at the Blue Jackets game, they usually have, like a little league, play like a non-point total, game, just like a little pickup game in between intermissions. And this video that we're going to be showing, this kid, 10 years old, did a lacrosse-style shot. And it was crazy. Scored a goal. So I'm going to go ahead and show it.
We also need to recognize James Ritzert and Hayden Mast. Oh,
It almost looked like he was out there flipping burgers.
That was a nice shot. Certainly looks like he's got his trick shot up, and whenever you can complete that against the live goalie, you got to give props to that, man. Shouts out to that 10-year-old kid. Looks like he has a bright future ahead of him.
Hey, and he's playing for I believe the Jackets Little League team. So, that's something that the Blue Jackets years ago they started.
And, hey, you know what? Maybe this could be one of those things to where we're looking at that highlight 15 years from now. We see this kid in an actual Blue Jackets uniform starring for the team.
That's how Jake Roslovic was.
You like to see stuff like that. I mean, I remember seeing a video of Dwayne Haskins at the shoe, with his Buckeyes jersey on, and it came to fruition, man. So you never know, man. This could be one of those things, man. And
I love it.
I'm all for it, man. Actually, I'm looking forward to it, man. So shout out to that guy again.
So we come down to the end of the show.
Make sure you tune in to our brother stations, the Buckeye Bro Show on Thursdays at
7:30
to 9:30. Lots of good
sometimes 10
content. You're right. And contact. Depends on if they get Hot Wheels mad, man. They have some contact and some content there. So go ahead and check out those shows, man. And all the other shows on Score on Air.
That's debatable every Monday night. With one of the hosts, Will Ward. Him and all his co-hosts that are on there. They have a great show. I actually watched the show last night. And, they brought up some good facts. So
you got To the Turnbuckle.
That comes up 5 o'clock 5 o'clock tonight with Hot Wheels, Travis and Logan and Jason.
So looking forward to that. It's been a ride.
Keep your ears out, too.
We will get back with you next Tuesday, and as always, we always like to say,
keep your ears out, too, as In the Shoe will be getting ready to start their overtime edition on YouTube.
Yeah, you got to keep your ears open for that because it's going to be explosive. It's going to be a lot of hot topics,
And a lot of hot takes.
Not as much censored as this family show here, but we will let you know and keep you guys posted. Thanks for tuning in with us, and thanks for stepping in the shoe.
The best damn band in the land is back again to win a conference, crown the Bucks the Big Ten champs. It's Buckeye fever, catch Brutus in the